Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's conversation. We're going to be talking about owning a small business, hair salon in particular, and having a large little family.
So today we have one of our dear friends with us, Kristen Lareness. Kristen, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Okay, where to begin? So, business owner for one. I've owned my salon for 12 years now. Moved to St. Louis, 13 years. No, it would be 14 years ago, which sounds crazy to actually say out loud. Didn't know a soul, but made it happen. I am now married to my husband, Tony, and we have 4 littles under the ages of 5.
It's unbelievable.
And 2 dogs. And we had some fish, but they died.
The fish are an interesting thing. We've experienced that with, I guess our kids as well, our grandkids. They're the easiest pet, but my gosh, they don't stick around for very long.
You just flush them and buy another one before they get home from school.
Yeah, our kids thought they were sleeping. They were not sleeping.
Right. You're like, okay, how'd they handle it?
Actually pretty good. They weren't phased too much by it, but it was pretty funny.
How did you end up in St. Louis? You were not born here?
It's the loaded question.
Yeah.
I was dating a guy that was from here.
Okay.
And so he was from here, and I was like, I wasn't loving living in Florida. I was like, I don't know, I'll try something new out. And I ended up moving to Festus, actually, which I had no idea what I was getting myself into when that happened. So, and then we broke up shortly after, and I just stayed.
Crazy. Yeah. We met you when you were looking for a job, and
he was looking for a salon home, and we were newer salon owners.
We were new,
and we were not ready for Chris.
No, we felt like you were so experienced and had so much training. We were like, we're not ready for her.
That's so funny.
She's not going to thrive here. We have to let her go elsewhere, which you did.
Yeah.
But then that didn't work out so great for you either.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I was ready to kind of just
do your thing,
do my own thing. I always knew I wanted to, in some capacity, work for myself, I think.
So what's the name of your salon?
13th and Washington. Yep. It used to be on 13th and Washington. We've since moved a block up, but I've kept the name because I didn't want to confuse people.
That's a great name anyway,
although it still does confuse people.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, it's awesome.
How's business?
Pretty good. I mean, it's summer, so it's a little bit quieter. It's just a roller coaster ride, quite honestly. Like some days it feels great. Some days it feels like I want to burn the place down. So there's that.
Ounds like you're a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that with having 4 under 5 years old?
Well, none of it was planned, so it kind of all just happened to me in some respect.
I like to think that's life in general.
Yeah.
It's just happening to you. We don't really have a say, do we?
We think we do. We do.
I think if I would have tried to plan having 4 kids or any kids at all, I probably wouldn't have had them. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad it happened that way. But
you have twins, right? Your oldest too?
The oldest are twins. They're 5, about to be 6. My daughter's 4, and then the baby is 1.5 years. And it's just, I just kind of roll with the punches, and I have to use my time very wisely and take advantage of rare opportunities such as this. Yeah. So it worked out.
No, we appreciate you doing this so much because I know you're incredibly busy. It's crazy. When Charles said, "What about Kristen?" I was like, "Oh my gosh. There's no way she's going to have time." And I was like, "We'll message her and see what she says." And he was like, "Yeah, she said she can do it." So we're thrilled to have you. How do you manage the salon with all of that?
Over the years, I've really refined my systems and processes and delegating tasks with the other stylist. We're hybrid now. So we used to be all booth rental. Okay. And when it was that way, I felt kind of like it was all on me, that I did have to handle everything on my own because I wasn't paying those people to do any other tasks. And now that I have half and half, like half employee, half booth rental, I feel comfortable saying, hey, I need you to, do X, Y, Z. So one of my employees is actually my COO. So she's in charge of daily operations when I'm not there. She's also a mom of 2 young children. And I think it's a cool opportunity for her. And as well as me, it's just taken a huge load off to know that there's somebody else that can handle the nitty gritty of like
Yeah.
the ins and outs of the day.
Does she
ordering
do
and all
hair?
that.
She's a stylist as well?
Yes, she's a
Yeah,
stylist
that's
as well.
awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great opportunity.
Yep. Yeah. Delegating.
That's a hard one. I mean, I think it's hard to actually do because, I mean, typically if you're somebody that's wired to go out and open their own business, you're not always wired to let other people do it.
Yeah. It's
You
been a
know?
huge learning curve because I'm a control freak, I've
I
realized.
am too. I hate saying it, but I really
Yeah.
am.
It's just the
It's true.
reality.
Do you
You
feel
are. You are. It's fine. But both of you, I mean, your children are older now, but you were in her position as well. So what do both of you guys think what were the biggest challenges of having these small children and trying to run a successful business?
I would say energy, like just having the energy and then being present
Yep.
wherever
Yep.
you are. Because, I mean, it was a little different when my kids were little. We didn't really have cell phones. Like we had a phone that was at the front desk. So our kids would have to call the salon, which is slightly different than.
I remember doing that to my mom.
Yeah, yeah. You know, was your mom a hairstylist?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yep.
that.
My mom, my grandma, and two of my aunts.
So you're like us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Generational.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Um,
I mean, you're living
this
it now.
might be all in my own head, but I felt like there was an added pressure of once I had children, I felt like the people that I was surrounded with in my business were empathetic to an extent, but then they also had the expectation of me to run the salon like I had no children, right? So, and like I said, that could be more in my own head because I have high expectations of myself, but that was a really hard thing for me to mentally get around was like, how do I do both at 100%, be a good mom and be a good business owner? And it's almost impossible.
Right.
So what are some of the practices or the discipline things that you guys do on a day-to-day basis that helps you with your energy or helps you with getting out of your own head and making sure that stuff's, good for you and your family and your business?
I mean, I would say on a good day, I will journal. I'll have my morning coffee and I will write things that I'm thankful for, but I will also kind of write how I want the next couple months or my year and kind of plan and just put it into words on paper. I'm a huge believer in, I hate to say the word manifestation, but that, and just like raising your positive frequency so that, you attract more things. So journaling with, I would say, and then exercising a little bit, just some sort of movement. Like I just got a set of 8-pound weights and like the kids will do it with me sometimes. My daughter was like, this is hard.
You're like, you have no idea how hard it's about to get.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
And I know how often you exercise, and
Yeah.
you do that for
It's for my
well-being,
mental
yeah.
capacity. I mean, and it depends on the stage I'm at in life, what that movement looks like. I went
Mhm.
through a big yoga phase, which was like, I just need to slow down and move slow. My energy right now, I cannot do that. Like I have to just, when I'm exercising. I'm moving fast. I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, I feel like I'm moving fast right now. So the one other thing that I really try to do is, I mean, it's, similar to with your journaling, I do my devotional time in the morning on a perfect day.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen.
Exactly. On a perfect day,
Yeah.
not every day.
Today I did both, which is kind of funny because I knew we were doing this and I didn't feel overly prepared to start filming a podcast.
We were not overly prepared.
No, we weren't. But I also am learning over time that in that moment, like when I woke up this morning, I was like, there is nothing that you could do at this point that's going to be better than spending your time doing the things that get your head right. Like there would have been nothing I could have done to make me feel more prepared that would have helped me more than doing those things.
Yep.
So I think it is keeping that perspective and remembering that it's hard to put yourself first ever, but remembering that that's really what helps everybody out. When I do that, that's actually the best thing I can do for everybody else.
We appreciate that.
I'm glad. What do you do to manage yourself with all this craziness and a family?
I try to start every morning out with reading, and it doesn't have to be a long read. It's just something to get my brain going.
I thought for sure you were going to say drink alcohol.
Well, that's it. I'm starting in the morning. I'm starting in the morning. So
Okay.
So,
Let's go through the day.
The morning, make sure I read at least a couple pages, and try to have a little bit of quiet time. It's nice, it's easier when the weather's nicer like it is. Go outside, just get into a little bit of nature. Throughout the day, I know I have to eat. If I do not eat properly, I am the biggest bitch you've ever seen. And
nobody likes it.
Nobody
Not
likes
fun.
it. And then to decompress in the evening, yes, I may partake in alcoholic beverage here or there. I do like them.
I went to a coffee shop recently and the cup said, "Be where your feet are." And I feel like that is such a valid statement because I try to remember that every day. It's like, okay, I've got this hour or this half hour that this is what has to happen within that hour. And I just have to do that and be there and nowhere else. And it's easier said than done, but.
No, I love that though, because, and I mean, it's something that I've struggled with all week this week. We've been traveling so much we'll teach, and with our education, we've been gone a lot. And then when I actually get time home, I think the expectation I set for myself of all the things I'm going to accomplish is one, ridiculous. But, I have struggled to just be where I'm at. There's a million different conversations you can be having throughout the day. And sometimes it is really a challenge to just be present and think, well, I don't have to. And I think social media makes that hard as well. Like,
oh my gosh, it does.
We're managing our businesses sometimes through our phone, and you pick your phone up. I mean, I say it repeatedly. I'm like, what am I doing with this thing? Why am I holding this? Because then all of a sudden you're like, now I'm on Instagram. Now I'm on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I've got a notification for whatever. Or I'm reading another email. What was I doing? I think it's very hard to manage all of it. Do you do any kind of practices with with technology? Do you shut anything down or?
So I have a time limit on my social media thing
love that.
I X out.
Yeah.
I'm like, 15 more minutes, 1 more minute, 15 more minutes.
I know, I do that too.
But I do try to stay off of it, and I do try to plan out social ahead of time as much as possible, like at least a week in advance, just to have stuff peppered in there throughout the week. So then I can just kind of check in with it.
You do great with your social. And you do
It's-
little tutorials.
I feel like I'm all over the place with it sometimes, but
Hey, it just gives a variety of what people are looking to see. I
Yeah.
think it's I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible.
I don't know.
I
I
just want
just
some
trying to
young
be real,
person
right?
to come do it. Yeah,
Yeah, just-
exactly.
I don't know. I
Exactly.
can't pretend to be something I'm not. I feel like I've given up on that at this point.
True.
I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
who
for
I
sure.
am.
Yeah, mine will usually be filled with you can always tell what's going on in my life because it'll have inspirational messages, has crazy messages. It just depends. It depends
Yeah.
on where I'm at. I'm like, oh, everybody knows I'm a lunatic this week.
We're all lunatics,
Yeah,
all of us.
Pretty much. Anybody that says they're going to sign up for this.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
It's a rough week this week. Okay. Looks like it.
Do you feel like you're noticing any consistent challenges with hiring or anything in the salon right now that you feel is?
I would say kind of. I feel like it's been in the past, I've found people more easily, and I always found people through social media actually. And I don't know if it's because we're downtown, and downtown sometimes gets, a bad rap.
It gets a bad rap all the time.
Yeah.
It's so great.
And I do think that ever since COVID and all of that, things have changed dramatically, and the economy is much different now too. So I feel like all of these factors play a role in it. But we have had new team members start, and they're happy. But I feel like it's been more challenging to attract an abundance of them all at once, rather than here and there I'm getting applications rather than continuously.
I agree. We were speaking with someone earlier that was saying, the schools are full again. Like all the schools are full. The industry, there's plenty of people to hire, and I'm like, where are they? I mean, we've hired a considerable amount recently in the last year, 5, and so we're in that season of evolving. I mean, I don't want to say like a second team, but it is, because we've got this team of experienced people, and now we have all of our new talent stylists, and That's been interesting for us just because we haven't lived in that realm for a
Yep.
while.
I do
You
feel
know?
like it's getting a little bit different though, because right after COVID, I mean, it was a ghost town. You couldn't find anybody to work. If, if I was going to say if you paid them, but you were paying them.
Gonna have to do
We
that.
do have to pay 'em.
You do have to pay them. So, but now, I mean, we have been getting applicants. We have been getting people interested, at least much more than
I
2021.
I think they're more selective, which I think
Yeah.
is great. They're interviewing more. Hopefully that's, a note to the schools that they're actually really promoting that to them and talking to them about what to look for.
hmm
But yeah, I don't know for sure. How has blended or hybrid worked for you guys?
So, talking about new talent, that's something that since having kids, I've kind of steered away from because for me, I feel like I can't give myself like my best self to a newbie. Like I don't have the time to really spend with a newbie to really like coach them through all the ins
Right.
and outs of building a clientele. So we're constantly looking for people who are either sick of being in like a loft situation, or just want more camaraderie, or they've built up a small clientele, and they're ready
Right.
to
That's
join
a
another
challenge.
team.
I mean,
It is a
finding those
challenge.
people is hard.
Yeah.
And then getting them to come in and immerse in your culture is another whole, not really obstacle. It's just a like a
It's just-
learning curve. It's
yeah,
it's
it's a
a period
challenge.
of time that
It's different for everybody because it's going to be different from where they came from to your salon. I mean, we both carry the same brand. I think we coach our team and our salon in a similar fashion.
hmm
But like, even if one of our people would go to you, it would be totally different.
yeah, I can't imagine doing that alone.
It's
It would be impossible. Like we can't do it. Even the two of us, we've now started to recruit our team to be a vital piece of their training. But I think that system in itself is the hardest one we still struggle with it, like having an actual system and saying this is your apprenticeship or this is your training
Mhm.
program because life happens.
Yep.
And life happens in the salon. It seems like more than life happens even outside of the salon, which is a lot.
I would agree with that.
So it's like, okay, yeah, we were supposed to do blow dry training today, but we have 13 color catastrophes or whatever,
Yeah.
color corrections going on. And it's hard to make those things happen.
Yep.
We've even
And I
been,
think with space as well.
that's what I was just going to say. We've even been looking for like an external space
hmm
because if it's not fair to them to say, okay, we're going to do it every Sunday and Monday either. It's just a
Yep.
challenge.
Yep.
It's been a really big challenge.
Do you find that the new talent wants to be done with their apprenticeship so soon? Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I keep hearing is that like when I was an apprentice back years ago, it was like a year long or
Oh, at
2
least a
years
year.
even.
Right.
They're not making it a year.
Yeah.
They just want to do hair. And you keep telling them like, listen, I'm trying to save you from the heartache that happens when you're in a situation and you don't know what to do.
Yep.
Ultimately, we hired 4 in August. We have 3 of those remaining still. And they started on the floor end of January, early February.
Okay.
Um, they're doing well, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. It adds a different element to the space because they still need a lot of support.
hmm
We market them on the floor as new talent, so we make that very apparent to whoever's booking with them that, we say new talent means less than 1 year's experience. Like we just put it out there.
Yeah.
And then we correct some stuff or, make some adjustments or modifications. We're very lucky that we have a whole team of people that are willing to support them as well. Cause there's a
Yep.
lot of times that we're also not there. It doesn't work if we don't have that.
Yep.
And it's hard, and that's what we were saying. Like it's hard because it's also our name on that work and they are growing and they're eager. What they do incredibly well is love people.
Mhm.
So that part of it, the hospitality piece, we probably trained harder on that than we even trained on doing hair, how to treat people well, how to make sure the clients are taken care of. And
We
then
have said that since day one of Blue that we've never fired anyone because of what services they've done or if they've screwed up on something. That's not how we handle people. But people have been let go if they don't treat people nice.
Yep.
You gotta
Yeah.
treat people good.
1,000%.
Yeah. And he
Same.
wants to go to, like, when I stop wanting to go to work because you're working, then we probably need to make an adjustment. You
Yep.
know, it's like,
Because it's
and
your
I've
job.
done that before where it's like 6 months you don't want to go to work because this person's working. You're like, what am I doing with
It's
my
truly
life?
like the
I own
darkest
this
of
place.
times of being a business owner. It really
Really?
is.
I'm in charge of that. What is going on here?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I think the industry is interesting. It's definitely evolving and changing for sure. I don't think that our new talent wants to work the way that, people say, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to work. I don't believe that. I just believe they have a voice in front of them all the time.
Mhm.
With social media, there's this voice that's telling them, hey, you don't have to live your life that way. You don't have to work yourself to death,
Yep.
And so their willingness to do that is far different than what I started with. I feel like when I went into the industry, it was like, you're going to work hard.
It's like the military.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
was like that military.
It's
That's
like,
a great
are you
description.
awake? You should be working, right?
Yeah.
It would be not uncommon for Nicole and I when, back in the 90s, to have 20 plus clients a day.
Yep.
It was ridiculous.
I feel like my business has a layer of, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but like there's a layer of disconnect between, and it's not a bad thing, between myself and the stylist that I work with, because even our employees, they have full control over their schedule and their clients. Like they have full access to all of the information. Like I am not afraid of them quitting and taking their clients, because at the end of the day, I don't own their clients. Their clients are their clients and they're going to seek them out regardless.
Right, exactly.
But I think giving them the freedom to design their schedule how they want, and like as things come up and then they move clients around and communicate with them, I feel like I'm empowering them and teaching them to be small business owners. So my employees could then eventually become a booth rental stylist if they
Right.
choose so. And I've had many of the booth rental stylists move on and open their own like successful, amazing salons in St. Louis. And it makes me so proud. It sucks when they leave, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard
You
when they
hate
leave.
it.
You do.
But you're very happy for them at the same time. It's like so bittersweet.
That's such an awesome way to let it evolve and let it happen naturally, because it is, that wasn't the way of the industry for a long time. It was always this like, we're going to hide all of this information. We're not going to give you access to certain things. We have an open, like very open scheduling for our team. We don't have it. They're very, I don't want to say spoiled. Maybe that's not, it's part of their opportunity in working there that
Yep.
they don't have to rearrange their schedules. We have one wonderful person that does that for them. So if they choose to move something around, she typically will take care of it for them. We're like, okay, that's one of the benefits of being in a salon that's hourly, or, we're
Yep.
hourly with team bonus. So it's part of being on the team. Since we don't have the opportunity for them to go rental at this time, we've talked about it a little bit. We're just not sure. Well, in the space that we're in, it doesn't work. We need more room. So
Well,
it
they
won't
quite
fit
honestly
for
don't
us.
always make more money as a rental stylist.
Well,
Like,
that I believe for sure.
it's not what everybody thinks it is. I think that some people, and I think that's the beauty of what we're doing, is like you have the same flexibility as the rental stylist already. So
Right,
know.
exactly. If you can give them, I think you have to look at it that way, because you'll hear a lot of owners say, oh my gosh, they want the same as what someone else can do on their own. And it's like, well, if you can give them a lot of that, you probably will keep them,
yeah.
working with you. I was thinking about it this morning when I was out on my walk. I was thinking about how awesome it is to, like, what's my favorite thing about owning? And I think it's so awesome to be in a position where you created something that provides an opportunity, but then also being so humbled to know that it's only an opportunity. Without the people that are willing to take the opportunity and grow it, we don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do both. I don't want to have to create the opportunity for myself and grow it for myself. Not anymore. I did that for
Yeah.
years when, before I owned my first salon, I went into the industry as a renter because my family owned a rental salon. So it worked out fine. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want more of the team that is surrounding me. And I love that. What do you love about owning?
Well, I feel like it's funny because I feel like I didn't really ever plan. Like I feel like was very lucky this whole time, the entire time. I'm still just lucky that I have a successful business. But the flexibility with my family is the main thing. Like I'm able to be here and my salon's fully functioning and, nothing crazy is going down, knock on wood, actually.
Yeah, that was
you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, do we have
Hold on.
It's like,
maybe I shouldn't say
should have
that.
never said that.
But
You know what I mean?
but it has given me freedom, to really be present with my kids when they were very small. Like when my twins were born, I was working 1 day a week. Were things absolutely roses at the salon when that was happening? No, I actually had quite a bit of drama when I had my twins at the salon. But I still, at the end of the day, I was able to get through it and still have a business to, call my own at the end of it.
Crazy. It is really kind of crazy how that works out. But I would say don't sell yourself short on it being all luck because you're awesome. I mean, we've met plenty of your employees or people that have, rented space from you. You're, somebody we really respect. We respect what you do in the industry and, the way you love on your people and team and the industry as a whole. There's a lot of, we all get a bad rap because there's a lot of not great owners out there. And I don't think that's ever their intention. It's just hard.
No.
It's harder than people give us credit for sure.
You don't know until you know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's plenty of functional things that I am doing much better now that I know and have educated myself and all of that. So, most people are good.
Do you feel like that transparency helps you with your team? Or is it hard to be vulnerable with them?
I think so. Like, I feel like I've become so much more transparent now than ever just because I kind of just am like, it is what it is. Like it is like I can't force you to stay. I can force you to go if I really need you to.
Right.
But I'm not going to try and like just keep you here if you don't want to be here.
Sometimes it seems like it would be worse.
Yeah, it would be worse. It really would because
it is worse. We've done it.
We have tried
it, where it's like, no, stay. We're like, you come to realize, for one, the minute that energy shifts, and it doesn't have to be personal. That used to bother me so much when everybody would say that to us when they were leaving. They're like, oh, it's nothing personal. It's not you. It's not what you do. And I would be like, it feels personal. It really hurts. Now I really do look at that and say, like, I don't have to carry that. It really isn't personal. They want to go figure out what they need in their life. And that's good.
I actually just had this conversation at our last team meeting. And I just said, if any of you decide to move on to do something different, maybe you change the industry completely or whatever, don't be afraid to just let me know what's going on. Like I would rather not be blindsided so I can, prepare and put my puzzle pieces into place where they need to be before it happens. But life is life. And life happened to me unexpectedly with having 4 kids and all the things. And I have had to shift and maneuver. So I understand.
I also have 4 kids and I never understood how that worked either. Like I was surprised every time. I was like, oh my gosh, you having another kid? Everybody's always like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. You should know how this works. I'm like, I don't know. I never figured it out. I don't know. I think that's such it's just a better way to navigate it all. It's so much, it makes you so much calmer.
Yeah.
And you're also not fighting for something that you have no control over anyway.
Right.
The last stylist that we had leave, we had one of our stylists that had been with us about 5 years. She was one of our top producers. She decided to move on at the end of the year. And after that, when I was chatting with our team, I said, the only thing that I would ask is I feel like, and I don't know why I came up with this number, but I was like, I feel like we deserve 3 conversations before you leave. Like at least talk to us and let us know, hey, I'm not feeling good about what I'm doing right now, because that's never our goal. You know, it's never our goal for somebody to be there, whether they're a top producer or not producing at all yet, and feel like, oh, I don't love what I'm doing.
All right, Kristen, what is in the future for 13th and Washington?
Oh, well, the future. It's so, I mean, I can't predict it, but I don't foresee myself ever, I shouldn't say ever. I really love being downtown, and I've seen downtown grow in ways that other people are just not quite understanding right now. And I mean, I've been there so long, I just feel very ingrained in the community of it. And I feel very proud to have a business down there. My landlord is exceptional. Like, he's an amazing landlord. Like,
That's awesome.
pretty hands off
rare.
and yeah, and just very reasonable. And he's retired, so he really,
That's
it's
amazing.
just funsies for him, I guess. But I really want my business to be a well-oiled machine. So I was just telling one of the girls yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was like, if I drop dead tomorrow, I want a binder that I can hand somebody, or they can take it out of my dead grasp, and they can open it up and be able to fully run this show without a hiccup. And I feel like I'm gaining that momentum, but I really want our employee, they're hourly as well, but hourly to have the opportunity, if they want to be booth renter, great.
Yeah.
If not, and then I want our booth renters to have opportunities to be a bigger part of the business. I don't know what that looks like yet or how that will function. But, and then, if they move on, there's just like this full circle happening of newbies coming in, being trained, and then, the whole deal. So that's kind of what I think.
No, I think
Very
that's
long-winded.
amazing. That really probably answers even the last question of how do you leave it better than you found it? I mean, it's that pretty much. I can't think of anything that's more amazing than that, but maybe you have something else you'd like to share about that.
What is it? How do I leave?
How do you leave it better than you found it?
Well, with my kids, I tell them they can do hard things if they're having a hard time. And so I kind of tell the same thing to myself and anybody else that I'm around that's, having a hard time dealing with whatever. It might seem like a challenge in the moment, but if you just do it, even if it's not the best, it can be done and you can do hard things, and therefore the future looks brighter. So
I love that.
Great. Well, guys, thanks for joining Nicole and I. And Kristen, thanks for being here.
Thanks. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was great. And it was great having you. Like I said earlier, we just respect you so much. And I'm excited to see what you do in the future of your business, because that's inspiring to us. And we're always looking for ways we want to see this industry grow and evolve and become a place that, people are proud to see their.
Well, you're one of my role models, so
Well, thank you.
Whatever I do will
Likewise.
be a reflection of you.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.